With the injury to quarterback Casey Thompson, the big question is how serious is the injury? Will it sideline him for next week's game, the remainder of the season? Those questions should be answered in the next few days.
We knew coming into this semifinal matchup it was going to be a pitcher's duel, and it absolutely was. LSU's Paul Skeens and Wake Forest Rhett Lauder both with great performances tonight. But when this game remained scoreless after 9 and went into extra innings, we knew it was only a matter of time before someone broke this game open, and that someone happened to be the Tigers' Tommy White, delivering the 2-run walk-off homer in the 11th inning to win the game, sending LSU back to the national championship for the first time since 2017.
Before his introductory press conference today, Matt Rule met privately with current Husker players to share just the vision that he has for the future of this program. Now, after that meeting, he met specifically with quarterback Casey Thompson as well as his dad. We actually saw Casey Thompson in the parking lot, and he gave us a little bit of insight into how that conversation went, as well as where he stands on whether or not he'll be back next season. Last week, Westside experienced something it's not used to having to deal with, and that was a loss. When I talked to Coach Lamongi and the players about why they weren't able to come out on top in that game, they pointed to a couple of different things, but all agreed was that they just simply overlooked North Platte.
You talked about it, facing adversity this season when you guys were on that 6-game losing skid. Probably never envisioned a moment like this, punching your ticket to the program's first ever Elite Eight. How does that feel just after everything you guys have been through?
Andy, after that win, Tennessee second baseman Christian Moore said that the team felt comfortable heading into today's game despite it being an elimination matchup. Of course, a big part of that is not having to face LSU pitcher and potential #1 draft pick Paul Skeens, Moore said. But of course, they also didn't want to overlook Stanford pitcher Quinn Matthews. Now, it took a little while for the Volunteers bats to get going against Matthews, but Moore explained what changed in that 5th inning when they exploded for 4 runs to tie the game.
No glass slipper in sight outside of Princeton's locker room, despite them being labeled as the Cinderella team of this year's NCAA tournament. Garrett Nelson was voted a captain this season for a reason. He always brings so much energy, and that energy fuels both the Blackshirts and the Huskers as a whole. But that energy was lacking in the season opener in Ireland, and because of that, Nelson felt like he let the team down. Some other bright spots for the Blackshirts against North Dakota: O'Shawn Mathis getting his first sack in a Husker uniform, and Caleb Tanner making some really nice open field tackles.
What do me dunking a basketball and Nebraska men's basketball sweeping Iowa have in common? Both have never happened until today. No, I still can't dunk. But the Huskers did end the regular season on a high note, taking down the Hawkeyes for the 2nd time this season. Out in Iowa City, it was senior day for Philip Rabacha and Connor McCaffrey. Not the send-off, though, that they were hoping for. Sam Griesel had a 3 to tie the game. Well, he follows it up with another to give Nebraska the lead. But Patrick McCaffrey, also hot from beyond the arc, sinks his 5th 3 of the half right there. The Hawkeyes, they go up 43-39 at the break. Let me skip ahead. The final minutes of the game, C.J. Wilshire back-to-back buckets, including this tray. Huskers go up 80-75. Then we go to the final 20 seconds of the game. Iowa down by 4. Connor McCaffrey drives in for the layup, but is called for the charge. A game-changing call as Nebraska goes on to win 81-77, finishing the regular season over 500.
Nebraska State swimming and diving begins Thursday in Lincoln. For one local swimmer, she's competing for something bigger than a gold medal. KETV News Watch 7's Ellie French shares her story.
The Swobodas were once a family of 4, Grace the baby of the family, but that all changed in 2010 when Lizzie was born.
Grace was great at making Lizzie laugh and got her interested in a lot of things that she liked.
One of those things was swimming. As the older sibling, Grace gave Lizzie advice on how to improve in the sport, even though she didn't always listen.
We butted heads a ton, so we're both very stubborn. But I feel like I learned, she matured a lot at closer to the end, like after she was diagnosed and stuff.
In September 2021, Lizzie started experiencing severe migraines, the Swobodas thinking it was remnants of COVID.
We went into Children's Hospital and got a cocktail of things for the migraines.
But the headaches continued, so Lizzie underwent an MRI.
Later on that afternoon, we found out that she had a large tumor inside of her brain that was about the size of a softball.
The tumor was found to be a grade 4, fast growing and aggressive.
She just didn't stop and she didn't complain a ton. She just like kind of persevered through it.
Drawn to swim for its tight-knit community, Grace leaned on the support of her teammates while Lizzie was undergoing cancer treatment.
My friend Grace, she decided that we should put like #LoveLizzie on the back, and so we did that on both of our backs.
That was during last year's state swim meet, a time when the Swobodas made a difficult choice regarding Lizzie's cancer treatment.
She swam on Friday for her prelims, and after that we had to tell her that Lizzie was going to be placed on hospice. And so she went into the championship knowing that her sister wasn't going to be around much longer.
In the finals for the 100-yard breaststroke, Grace placed 6th. 6 days later, Lizzie passed away. She was 11 years old.
The day after her funeral, I went down and I went to the sectionals meet, like spring sectionals meet in Columbia, Missouri, and I kind of just left it all there.
She really got herself into, I mean, not that she wasn't focused on swimming before, but I think it was great for her to have that.
Finding solace in swimming while improving her times tremendously, Grace enters this year's state swim meet with the top time in the 100-yard breaststroke and hopes to be the first to touch the wall in the finals, winning not only for herself, but for her sister.
I've been thinking about this for like a year. Like, if I ever were to win state or anything like that, I was like, oh, that's for Lizzie, you know. She's like always watching down.
I know she's proud. She's looking down with a big smile.
Keeping Lizzie's memory alive in the water and in everyday life.
We're never like just 4 family members. We're always going to be 5.
In La Vista, Ellie French, KETV News Watch 7 Sports.
Jake Meyers says the last 2 years have been a
roller coaster. I had a really good 2021 year, played really well and kind of got a lot better and made my debut at the end of the year. And so that was, you know, a dream come true, and got to play in the big leagues, kind of understand what that was like, and played well. Got to play in the postseason.
On the hands and into right. Welcome to the big leagues, Jake Meyers. Your first playoff at bat drives in the first run of the series.
A dream come true for the former West Side Warrior, but that dream coming to a sudden halt 5 days later.
The check is on Meyers right now from the training staff.
A shoulder injury in Game 4 of the ALDS forced Meyers to miss the rest of the postseason and eventually undergo off-season surgery.
It was a lot harder mentally than physically. Kind of when I got back, I definitely didn't take that for granted.
At the start of the 2022 season, becoming a World Series champion wasn't even a thought for Meyers. He was working his way back from off-season shoulder surgery and wondering when he would even get another at-bat in the majors.
Then on June 24th, the Astros activated Meyers from the 60-day injured list. Then a week later,
takes the 1-2 to right field. That one's hit well. Jake Meyers has put Houston in front.
He went yard for the first time since his injury.
A moment I'll remember because that was kind of the first big moment of like, you know, I'm back.
Meyers didn't make the Astros World Series roster, but was with the team the entire postseason, including when they were crowned champions.
It's undescribable. Being a part of that is really a dream come true, and it's something that I think every baseball player is striving for, and I'm just really grateful to be a part of it.
As for the future, Meyers' goal is simple.
Just keep getting better every day and try to look back after all of it and say I did everything I could to be the best I could.
And by doing that, Meyers might just earn himself another World Series title.